Welcome everyone. I'm excited to kick off our presentation on editing and omission. Today, we'll explore how editing shapes our understanding and how omission can influence the message. We'll cover key concepts, techniques, and examples to help you see the power behind editing choices. Let's get started. All right, let's take a look at what's coming up next in this presentation. On this slide, we have the contents, which outline the structure of what we'll be exploring. First, we'll dive into Chapter 1, which is all about editing. This is where we'll discuss how to refine and improve our content effectively. Next, we move on to Chapter 2, focusing on omission. This is a crucial concept because knowing what to leave out can make our message clearer and more impactful. Finally, we have the final chapter, where we'll look at a concrete example of omission in action. Throughout this presentation, you'll see how editing and omission are interconnected and essential for crafting compelling and concise communication. Let's dive into Chapter 1, Editing. In this chapter, we'll explore the core concepts behind editing and why it's such a vital part of the creative process. We'll look at how editing helps us refine our work, improve clarity, and enhance the overall quality of our projects. I'll emphasize the importance of a critical eye and how to approach editing with both patience and precision. This chapter connects to our broader theme of storytelling, because good editing can transform raw ideas into a compelling final product. So, throughout this section, keep in mind that editing isn't just about fixing mistakes, it's about shaping your message and making your work as effective as possible. Let's take a closer look at errors and corrections. As you can see, words like lose and lost often get mixed up, but understanding the difference is crucial. Similarly, weights versus weight highlights the importance of subject-verb agreement. The words was and is remind us to choose the correct tense based on context. When we see doesn't, it's a reminder to pay attention to contractions and their proper usage. Moving on to opportunities, I want to emphasize that the word don't can sometimes be a barrier if not used correctly, but recognizing opportunities is about understanding the right context. Notice the singular opportunity versus the plural opportunities. Both are important depending on what you're describing. The words has, have, and in are simple but vital. They help us construct clear and accurate sentences. On and in are prepositions that can change the meaning entirely based on how they're used. Overall, this slide is about recognizing common errors and knowing how to correct them, which is essential in clear communication. It ties into the larger theme of refining our language skills to become more effective and confident in our messaging. Errors and corrections. Today, I want to focus on some important points about time that can help us avoid mistakes and make better choices. First, it's essential to understand that time is more precious than money. While money can be earned back if lost, time, once gone, is gone forever. This is a crucial concept to remember because many people take time for granted. You might have heard the saying, "Time and tide wait for no one," which reminds us that time keeps moving forward regardless of whether we're ready or not. If we miss opportunities, they might spoil our chances in life and lead to regret. That's why acting promptly is so important. Those who don't act in time often end up having to repent later. For example, an intelligent student always prepares his lessons in advance. He understands that proper use of time is essential in life. By managing time wisely, we can avoid errors and make the most of every moment. So, remember, using your time effectively isn't just about productivity. It's about shaping your future and preventing unnecessary mistakes. Today, let's focus on the role of educationists in shaping our future. Educationists, or educationists, are individuals deeply committed to education and its development. They are overwhelmingly concerned about the future of our youngsters because they understand how crucial education is for their growth. A common complaint you hear is that students don't study enough or lack interest in their studies. Some blame this on exposure to the media, suggesting it distracts or influences students negatively. Others feel that the present generation isn't serious enough about their education and responsibilities. In response to these concerns, organizations like the CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education, regularly review and update the syllabus. The idea behind this is to build a complete personality of the individual, focusing not just on academic knowledge, but also on character, skills, and overall development. So, in essence, educationists are working tirelessly to improve educational practices, keeping in mind that education should nurture well-rounded individuals prepared for the future. Let's dive into Chapter 2, Omission. Here, we're focusing on the idea of omission, which is essentially leaving something out, whether intentionally or unintentionally, in our communication. This can be a powerful tool or a potential pitfall, depending on how we handle it. Omission is all about what we choose not to say, and that choice can significantly influence how our message is received and understood. It can help us streamline complex information, emphasize what's most important, or protect sensitive details. But on the flip side, it can also lead to misunderstandings or incomplete messages if we're not careful. Throughout this chapter, we'll explore how omission fits into the broader theme of effective communication. It's about knowing what to leave out and when, so that our messages are clear, impactful, and aligned with our goals. Remember, sometimes what you omit can be just as important as what you include. In April 12, 1961, Major Yuri Gagarin became the first man ever to venture into space. What's remarkable about this event is that he did not know for certain beforehand that he was to be chosen for this historic mission. The Russians had 3 possible candidates ready, but even though Gagarin was first on the list, the final decision was not definitely made until the early morning of April 12. This moment marked a huge milestone in space exploration, demonstrating the Soviet Union's rapid advancements and setting the stage for future international competition and cooperation in exploring the cosmos. It's a perfect example of how space exploration often involves uncertainty and last-minute decisions, yet leads to groundbreaking achievements that inspire us all. Back in about 1900, when Charles Chaplin was just a small boy with dark hair, he was often seen waiting outside the back entrance of London theaters. You can imagine a young boy, looking thin and hungry, but despite that, his blue eyes show a clear sense of determination. Interestingly, he had the ability to sing and dance, skills he inherited from his parents, who were music hall performers. But what's really important to note here is that Charles was born into the world of theater, which played a big role in shaping his future. This early exposure to performance and entertainment was the foundation for his incredible career. Let's talk about family moments and why they matter so much. Children, as we know, love picnics and outings with their parents. These are times filled with joy and laughter that create lasting memories. But it's important to remember that children are just as happy doing simple activities at home, around the house, with their family. A parent can make a child feel truly special by establishing some simple rituals. For example, reading bedtime stories, playing cards, or just talking and laughing together before going to sleep. These small rituals are powerful. They give children a wonderful sense of well-being and security. And what's truly remarkable is that children hardly ever forget these moments. They cherish them throughout their lives, carrying those feelings of happiness and connection deep within. So, whether it's a big outing or a quiet evening at home, these family moments are essential. They build a foundation of love and trust that lasts a lifetime. Let's take a moment to focus on the concept of a dramatic experience. On this slide, we see the word dramatist and its plural form, dramatists, highlighting the key figures behind these powerful performances. These are the creators who craft the stories that evoke such strong emotions in us. Moving on, the slide indicates for and of, which point to the importance of understanding who these dramatists are and what they represent. Then we see who, whom, and had, which can seem a bit confusing, but they emphasize the idea of identity and connection, specifically the identity of the dramatists and their relationship to the audience and the culture they come from. Next, Englishmen and Englishmen remind us that many influential dramatists historically have been English, shaping the dramatic arts both within England and beyond. Finally, the phrase has suggests the ongoing influence or the legacy that these dramatists have left behind. All of these points tie back to our overall theme, understanding how dramatic experiences are created and the cultural significance of the dramatists behind them. They are not just writers, they are the architects of emotional and cultural expression through their plays. Now, in this final chapter, we're going to look at an omission example. This will help us understand how missing information or leaving out details can impact the overall message or interpretation. I'll walk you through the key points, and we'll see how omissions can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or incomplete conclusions. It's important to recognize these gaps because, in our broader discussion, clarity and completeness are crucial. By examining this example, you'll get a better sense of how to spot omissions and understand their significance within the context of the entire presentation. This ties back to our theme of thoroughness and accuracy in communication. Let's look at the final chapter, which is an example of omission. Imagine there was a boy named Rahul. He was not only intelligent, but also smart. One day, he found a wallet lying on the road. Inside it, there were Rs 3,000. Now, Rs 3,000 is a significant amount of money, and it's important to note that. He also found a photo of the owner. When he looked at the photo, he noticed that the owner's face resembled his uncle. Recognizing this, Rahul decided to give the wallet to his uncle, who appreciated his honesty. Now, why is this example important? Because it highlights how omitting certain details can change the focus or clarity of a story. For instance, if we omit that Rs 3,000 was a big amount, the significance might be lost. Or if we omit the fact that the face resembled his uncle, the connection and decision might not be as clear. This example connects to our overall theme about the importance of including key details in communication. Missing out on these details can lead to misunderstandings or incomplete stories. So always remember, what you omit can be just as crucial as what you include.